Today was too good to pass up an opportunity to get out on the water for a yacht cruise with the boys from Ensign Shipbrokers, Lee and Flo. We headed down to Manly Harbour to set up and set sail. We're down here at Manly Marina today and I'm here with Lee. Lee, what are we up to today?
I reckon we should take this boat out here and go check out some of the hotspots, eh Fraser?
Sounds good to me. Setup is fairly easy when you know your way around like these boys do. The yacht is fitted with an electric winch, making getting up the mast so much easier than climbing. So we suited up Flo and set him up to the top of the mast to secure our camera. Not a bad view from up there. Enough on the land, let's go sailing. So I'd cook me bacon and eggs, do me washing here. Ooh, super, what a yacht. In the area around Manly, there are quite a few local islands and destinations you can sail to. In particular, St Helena Island has a pier making island access simple and you don't need to get wet. Green Island and Peel Island are also very popular with the yachts and provide shelter in some cases and easy anchorage in certain tides. Further afield, you will find North Stradbroke Island and Moreton Island only several hours sailing away. So Lee, where are we?
Well Fraser, at the moment we're in Waterloo Bay, which is a part of the bigger Moreton Bay area. Over here we've got Green Island, which is another lovely little barbecue spot for an afternoon. Over here we've got St Helena Island, and over here we've got Australia.
That's the mainland still?
That's still the mainland over there. So that's Wellington Point just over there, and we've got Manly Harbour right behind us here.
Such a beautiful place up here in Brisbane. So where's the best place to anchor up this afternoon?
Well, it really depends, Fraser, but today's conditions, with the sun and the wind the way it is, we'd probably head out to Peel Island, Horseshoe Bay. It's really protected, really nice, really flat, long sandy beaches. It's the way to go.
Sounds great.
And apart from that, there's also Tangalooma over here. Got all the wrecks and everything over there to explore. Families love it.
What's the benefit of using a yacht to get to these places?
It's nice and quiet. We can just set the sails and just go in one direction, no noise. Nice and peaceful.
Pure wind harnessing.
Exactly right.
So what other types of sailing happens here in the bay?
There's plenty of different types of sailing around here. Mainly beginners come out from Manly Harbour, do a lot of training in here because it's nice and sheltered. We do a lot of racing in here, and just out past Green Island we do a lot of racing as well. But from here, a lot of cruisers leave from here to go to the Gold Coast or up to Mooloolaba and even onto the Whitsundays. So it's a fantastic transit point for travellers.
Pretty central, so they can go both ways depending on the winds?
Exactly right, and because the water's so clean, nice, it's reasonably sheltered, it's a great place for cruisers to explore as well.
Sounds fantastic.
And how can you try sailing without committing yourself to the sport?
Just go down to your local club. They have lots of programs down at Manly, for example, on the Wednesday afternoon. They have a group called WAGS, so you can go down there and they can put you in touch with...
WAGS, what does that stand for?
Wednesday afternoon...
Gentlemen sailors.
Gentlemen sailors.
So even if you're not a gentleman, you can
That's
get into
right.
it?
Yes, I think they'd accept anyone. So yeah, just turn up down there and yeah, you can be out on the water in no time flat.
And is there a good sense of camaraderie
Oh, absolutely.
in the yacht clubs? Because they do seem, you know, they do seem like old boys clubs sometimes.
Well, there's this bit of a perception about it, but I mean, you know, once you're there and out on the water, the focus is really on, you know, the craft, you know, so there's the teamwork and the skills and understanding where the wind is and where you're going and all those sorts of things. So,
and is the sailing fraternity serious about the next generation of people coming through? They appreciate that they need to break down some of these barriers?
Absolutely. And both through the recreational side, but also the sporting side. You know, the future, you know, America's Cup champions are the boys and girls who are out there on the water.
That's right. I think I recall that the social media aspect of the Sydney to Hobart was so huge last year, and people could log on and read millions of blogs instead of it being the start and then the finish.
That's right.
Last year they were able to look at every little challenge along the way, and I guess that's making it more accessible as well. Is the sailing fraternity using social media effectively?
Increasingly so, and I think you'll probably see a lot more of that. The next round of the America's Cup program uses technology, you know, to the nth degree, and you'll see, you know, lots of graphics and all sorts of things. It'll be very much a TV spectator sport. So again, elite sport, but you know, I guess it's like watching Bathurst. Yeah, you can get all the excitement and the thrill of watching how the elite do it.
And then go out into the garage and play with your own car.
Go out and be on the water and do it yourself.
Do it yourself, that's right. Well, I guess benefits. Are there different benefits from powerboating? Is sailing use different half of a brain, or does it use different skills and offer different advantages?
Absolutely, it does. It's tactical. You've got to be thinking all the time. You've got to be thinking where the other boats are, when you've got to give way, which way the wind's coming from.
Yeah, I think there's, and speaking from the work environment too, I think there is probably a mentality difference there, where the powerboatie can sometimes be destination orientated as a personality, yet the owner of a sailing vessel is more about the time on the water. So may not get over to that place today, but it's a great time on the water. So and that's probably goes hand in hand with the personalities more than anything.
And certainly a lot of catamarans and a lot of sailboats have the power option, don't they? Just in case you need to get out of there quick or...
Absolutely, and that's probably something that you see quite often when you're at the resort or you're on holiday and you see those little 14-foot cats out the front there. And you know, don't be scared. Go out and get on it, because even though they may not have a motor to get you back to the beach,
someone will
someone will come out and get you. Yeah, absolutely.
So is it more expensive than powerboating?
Again, from an industry perspective, no, I don't think it is. I think the powerboating side of things, there's a few more considerations there, and you can get into sailing, you know, with some of these other smaller boats, you know, for under $1,000. So with very little maintenance, other than some trailer maintenance. So no, I think you can get into sailing considerably cheaper than the considerable size powerboat.
Well, here with me today I have esteemed author and classy yachtsman, Mr. Rob Mundell. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is such a pleasure to meet you, and you just have a list of credentials that are a mile long, so that is brilliant, and it's obviously in your blood.
Oh, it's very much in my blood, Bernadette. It's my life's been around sailing all from day one, essentially, and it goes further back than that, because my great-great-grandfather was the master of a square rigger. So for me to be in the sport and enjoying sailing as I am is not surprising.
So it was something that your family's obviously always been involved in, and that's how you first got involved?
I first got involved in sailing through just the family being on the water, and I remember putting around Sydney Harbour at a very young age in a little launch, but my actual sailing activity started when I was 11 years old at Middle Harbour's 16-foot skiff club in Sydney. A mate invited me to join the crew of his boat. The moment I stepped on that boat and we went out and did our first race, which we won, that helps, I was gone, absolutely gone. I knew that I'd found my passion, I'd found my sport, I found everything where I wanted to be, in essence.
And you slowly progressed to bigger and faster boats?
In essence, yes, but sailing's not all about bigger and better boats. Sailing's all about having fun on the water, and it really doesn't matter what size boat it is. As long as you're out there, as long as you're enjoying yourself, as long as you're sharing it with your friends, although you can go by yourself and still have a good time. That's what it's all about, and that's what I love about it. The other big thing about sailing is it's one of the very few activities in life that you can essentially do from 8 to 80. There aren't too many things that you can do in sport and as a pastime, fishing may be, where you can do it from 8 to 80.
So what do you think would be your favourite or the boat that gives you the most thrill?
I love speed. I always have. I've raced 16-foot skiffs, 18-foot skiffs on Sydney Harbour, multi-hulls. Today, I love racing monohulls as long as the competition's good. But to do some cruising and do some racing, I'd always go to a multi-hull, believe it or not, these days.
And what do you think has been the best race that you've raced in?
Oh, wow. Well, there have been a lot of spectacular races I've been involved with. Miami to Jamaica, the Middle Sea race around the Mediterranean, Sydney to Noumea, beautiful races up in the Whitsundays out of Hamilton Island. The opportunities, that's another great thing about this sport. The opportunities are worldwide, and the places you can go to, the events you can become involved with, the people you can meet. It's just such a cosmopolitan activity, and you just don't get it out of your system.
Now, you mentioned Hamilton Island. You've had a lot to do, I understand, with I guess the setup of the regatta up there.
Well, I'm one of the people who was involved with the regatta from day one, and it is now without doubt Australia's premier keelboat regatta, and it's a very proud time for me, in as much as the Oatley family now own that island. They're taking the regatta from strength to strength, and it's now going into its 28th year, and it's not losing any of its pace. Its appeal is growing, so it's really, and in fact Hamilton Island Race Week is now a world standard regatta without any shadow of doubt, and it's something that yachties and Australia can be very proud of.
And I guess the other thing Australia is proud of is, of course, the Sydney to Hobart. We all know about that, and you've been, I guess, lucky enough to sail in a few of those races, and of course commentate a lot of them as well.
Yeah, I went into journalism as soon as I left school, and I was extremely fortunate after a few years where I was able to combine my sport with my career, and that inevitably led to the Hobart race, the America's Cup, Olympics, etc., etc. But with the Hobart race, I think I was 17 or 18 when I reported on my first race. I've sailed in it 3 times, but the race is actually an occupational hazard, nice hazard that it might be. And yeah, I've covered the race now 30 plus times, 35 times, 36 times, I think.
And I guess one of your international best-selling books, Fatal Storm, is based around the events of one of the races.
Yeah, the 1998 race, which we all remember, was that terrible tragedy where 6 sailors died. I was in a situation there where I was covering it for the race for the Australian, as I always did, and for the Channel 10 television network. And suddenly, within a matter of hours of the start of the race, we knew that it was destined for tough times, but we didn't then realise how bad it would be. And as it progressed, it just got worse. At one stage, for me personally, I had 20 friends unaccounted for, and they were missing for a day, and it just got bigger and bigger. And I suddenly realised that the real inside story of what happened there, what could be learned, and what went wrong, was far greater than television or newspapers or magazines. It was a book, and I grabbed the opportunity to do that book. And yeah, fortunately for me, Fatal Storm's still selling worldwide. It's in 6 languages and just still making me very happy.
So I guess during the writing process, it must have brought up some more harrowing memories for you.
Well, in being a sailor, I was able to actually relive or feel the moments that those sailors had been exposed to when I spoke with them, when I was interviewing them for Fatal Storm. And I'm not ashamed to admit that on a number of occasions while doing those interviews, I actually shed a tear with them, because you knew how close they came to dying, to losing their own lives. Yeah, it was a very traumatic experience. But to be able to translate that into a book, which really to this day for many people is a Bible to tell them, a manual about how quickly things can go wrong and how things can go wrong. It's been very a wonderful experience for me to be able to put that book out there for sailors worldwide to appreciate.
And I guess through all of your years out on the water, you must have had a few hair-raising moments yourself.
Yeah, I guess so. There's been a few scary ones. Probably the worst one was in the race from Miami to Jamaica, and I was on a maxi yacht called Ondine, 10 o'clock at night, 20 miles off Cuba, and the big spinnaker broke free, and long story short, I went to try to assist the foredeck crew to get that back under control, and I went over the side in the middle of the night. Somehow, I don't know how, you hear about a death grip, I was able to hang on to a line, a rope, and they got me back, and I'm here to be talking to you now.
Here to tell the tale.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, you've been involved with around the world yacht races and the Olympics as well. Talk to us about that.
Well, the good thing about my life is it's been so diverse. So my sailing has been diverse, and you see every aspect of it. I've just come back from being in Alicante in Spain for the start of the Volvo Around the World race. I was involved with that race in 01, 02 and 05, 06, where I wrote books about it. And so you get to see all these events from the inside and out, and that's a wonderful part about being able to combine my career with my sport, my passion. And it's no matter where you go, there's always something different, something entertaining. There's always a lot of fun, and certainly great camaraderie with both the competitors and your media mates.
Now, you've already achieved so much in the yachting world. Are there any other aspirations you still have that you're aiming for?
Well, really in life in general, you should never stop trying to achieve. You should never stop trying to find new challenges, new levels of excitement, because if you do, you just stop. So life's worth living, life's there to be lived, and yeah, I'll be always looking for a new challenge, something entertaining, something I haven't done. Right now, my next desire, I think, is to put in the water a new fast cruising yacht that I can race occasionally, but go and do some exploration and continue to have a good time and maybe write about it.
And you still enjoy racing today?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, it's once the adrenaline pump from racing is fantastic. But you know, again, it's another great sport where you can cruise or race or just relax or go on anchor in an anchorage and do nothing. It provides so many wonderful opportunities. And again, kids can start in little dinghies and progress into all sorts of activities and go across the world sailing and having a great time and meeting new people and seeing new cultures.
And I guess another feather in your cap is that you're the Commodore here at the Southport Yacht Club. So tell us a little bit about that role.
Southport Yacht Club's a club that I'm very proud of, and certainly it's an honour to be Commodore. It has the reputation for being the friendliest yacht club on the coast. In fact, I've just got some friends here from Sydney at the moment. They've cruised from Sydney all the way to the Kimbleys and back, and they stepped off their boat last night and said, this is the one club that we really love coming to. And that's fantastic. I think our staff and our management and everyone else are doing a great job here. And our location is second to none here on the waterfront to any yacht club in the world. So yeah, Southport Yacht Club, a very special place.
And you, I guess you grew up and lived a lot of your life in Sydney, and now here on the Gold Coast. How do you like the lifestyle up here in Queensland?
Well, having moved from Sydney to here 9 years ago, I can say that I won't be going back to Sydney. I just love it. I first came to the Gold Coast when I was 18 years old, and didn't stop coming here over the years, and then 10 years ago, the opportunity presented itself where I could leave Sydney and move here, which is what I always wanted to do deep down. So I'm loving the lifestyle, I'm loving the people, I'm loving the Southport Yacht Club. So you really can't want for more.
And I'm sure you try and convert all your mates down in Sydney to come up and live this lifestyle.
Well, I must say that they come to see me more often than I go down to see them. So which tells you plenty. And they really enjoy being here. The climate, everything else about this place is just ideal.
Now, I guess, do you have any tips for maybe some first-time sailors or people that are a little nervous, I guess, about getting out onto the water?
Well, there are two ways to get out on the water, but the best way is to go to a sailing club or go to a yacht club. Just about everyone provides an opportunity to learn to sail. Go there and learn to sail, learn the basics, and then move on from there. You don't have to own a boat. There's this perception that it's a rich man's sport. It's not. It's a sport where every boat that's out there needs crew. You don't have to own a boat to enjoy it. And if you're a young person, you go and get into dinghies and learn. You meet new friends, you learn and work your way through it. It's a very clean, very healthy sport. It's one where you need to be a little bit fit. You get great exercise. You're at one with nature. It's quite unique. It's I guess you'd call it a very clean sport. If you're older, you're never too old to get into it. I've got a friend who actually was 30 odd years old, and he actually qualified for the Olympics, and he'd never been sailing until he was 30. So it's something that you can do, as I've said before, no matter your age. And it's a very special place to be, out on the water and under sail.
Can I ask you, what's your boat of choice at the moment?
My boat of choice right now, it would be a fast cruising catamaran, a little bit radical, about 45 feet long in the old language, and a boat that would be not only exciting but comfortable. And as you get older, you want that element of comfort.
Well, Rob, you are a wealth of knowledge. You're obviously so passionate about the water and yachting, and you've got a list of credentials that are amazing. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been brilliant speaking with you.
My pleasure.
No holiday for me. I get sent to work and we check out the scenic Helena Island after the break.